All right, here we go.
You see him walk there, looks pretty cool, you know.
The gameplay.
Sprinting, looks great.
Oh, I like the ominous walk off the other one there, actually.
That looks pretty nice, you know.
Running attack for 15 damage. That's his first move we've seen. Oh, the animations.
Oh, straight off the bat. Just carry it on you at all times.
Let me do it again so we can have a better view of it. There we go.
Amazing.
This is really, really cool.
Very, very nice. Very cool. Oh, I do actually love the way he's just like standing.
The rest of this hero's attack, because that's kind of interesting.
It's all in the subtle
as I was
animations.
mentioning, we kind of have an infinite chain, but it's a little bit different this time, right? Because normally when we have like something like Shaolin, you can do like like light to heavy, light to heavy, light to heavy. But that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then we went, how do we take this a step further, right? And so what we came up with is every single option that you typically have. So light, heavy, zone, and bash work everywhere. So I can do
Bash as well.
I can do light into a bash. I can do light into heavy, into a zone, into a bash, into all sorts of crazy things.
Oh
right?
gosh.
So the rules for chaining for this hero is
He can
every
chain
time you do
everything.
the same button, or so the same type of action twice in a row, right? So if you do light, light, heavy, heavy, bash, bash, zone, zone, you go into a finisher, that's where you stop. The finishers typically are like a little bit stronger, they have like better stuff, so that's kind of interesting. And you can alternate them constantly. And each option that you have has different options. Like they have different properties and where we can go. So it's kind of like pushing some of the stuff we have a little bit more to the extreme and going into that, right? And so what's also interesting is that
That's gonna make
we
it a
really
lot
built this
simpler
hero to be every single light attack
to
is
understand.
using the spear, and every single heavy attack uses the club. When we zone, sometimes it uses the club, sometimes like you see the finisher uses both at the same time. That's kind of cool there. So I know this this caused not problems, but it's challenging for animation, right? That really have that's different because it's the first time we have a hero that has two really, really distinct weapons, like real weapons, not like a shield and whatever. We have some characters that have like some heroes like Peacekeeper that has like a dagger and a sword, but they're kind of similar and they're not used in the same way. So what kind of challenges you guys face when we're working on this?
If I may, if in a way it kind of focused animation because it was like a very direct way to see like, okay, well, heavy's always going to be the club and light's always going to be the spear. So in a way, it focused a lot of our animation work. We were able to immediately discern and immediately make clear the animations were going to be light with the spear and all that. So that was good.
Another thing is that with the spear, we aim to have range, okay, with those pokes and things. And then with the club, we went more for the heaviness, feeling the body weight, feeling that power. And then if we talk about the chain, we went and took advantage of that inertia that the character was having, that momentum he was having. And we made a decision like, are we making him a spin or not? So, yeah, like that, like you're showing it right now.
Yeah. So sometimes you're spinning, sometimes you're not. It's like to make
Strong
With
offense.
the club, it's
Strong
really
offense by the
spin
looks of it.
because we have a lot of
And those
spin,
numbers
a
as
lot
well
of
look
energy
pretty strong.
going on.
26,
And
28
then with the
for chain
spear,
heavies.
we go for the range.
One of the big challenges I find we had for the openers and finishers.
It's what I
was
expected,
first
though.
the chain together.
I mean, having two
We have to
weapons,
really make sure
you'd
that
imagine him to
every
be
fight is
offensive
perfect.
rather than a weapon and a shield.
Yeah, the
Like,
flow of the
then they're
character
going to be
was
half
really
defensive.
important because we only
So,
had about
makes sense.
3 frames in order to make transitions between the one attack to the other one in chain. So to put all together with the endless possibilities, it was sort of a challenge.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we wanted the player to have that feeling that he's never out of the chain.
The chains always look
'Cause one of the things
bad,
that,
like when you first see them, but
like you're talking about
after a
having
few
3
weeks,
frames,
like,
chain and stuff, like,
once you
so
play
it's-
against it, I'm
I
sure
mean,
it'll
I
get
can- I can more
it'll get a lot easier
Yes, of
to
course.
counter and recognize. So
Essentially,
I wouldn't worry if it
what
looks
we're
like
talking
he's
about
going to be
here is that
crazy with his
we
attacks.
tried to make sure when we're designing this hero to have almost like a blender-like quality, right? We want you to, when you're facing an Ocelotl, that you're scared, and to have that sort of pressure.
Turn up the video volume.
That you really felt that pressure. We made sure that the chain link timings were as short as possible. So often enough, when you do if you do a light into a heavy, you see it goes very, very, very fast.
I've turned
with the
it
next
up.
attack. You can delay them a little
Let me
bit,
know
of course, right, if you want.
that's all right.
but
Hope
you
it
don't
should
have
be.
to. And if you go really, really quick, you get that sense of pressure, of that constant aggression, and really feeling like you're in a blender, right? That's kind of what we were going for. So that's super, super interesting. And but it does. That's like you were mentioning.
Yeah.
It creates a lot of challenges in terms of, well, how do we make this look good? How do we make this feel good? But that's a definite big challenge. That's really cool. I'm happy you guys really pulled it off because
Yes.
it's a big thing. That's great.
And I also think it's cool, like when you look back and you hear, kind of the narrative aspects of it that Ian and Raph talked about a bit, with this this character in the story that was built for him. It really was like you made a very angry boy, right? Like he's very angry, right? And so you feel that a lot in him.
There is
Hey, thank
something
you for
that I
the
always say.
donation, by the
So
way.
we have strong words here.
Much
strong
appreciated.
feelings like fury or rage, whatever, brutal, vengeance. So he has a lot going on inside of him.
Yeah.
And our job is to translate emotions into motion.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Tagline.
We had in our minds in every single attack, Jim and I, like
Sure.
Annalie, of course, she's not here. But yeah, we try to focus on that in order to make him strong. In the anticipation to build that energy, quick releases, and then during the recovery, like he gets again into balance.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, really cool stuff. Awesome. So,
All right, so let's keep going a little bit into the heroes like basic kit, right? So like I was saying, every single light, like the neutral lights are 500 ms, like we normally have. Chain lights are all 400 ms. They tag people when you dodge after you do a heavy or a bash or whatever. So again, a lot of pressure there. Light finishers are 400 as well. So if I go light into light, that's 400. I don't think anybody can react to these things. Like we've done some tests with
I
some
cannot.
pro players. Yeah, right. That's the thing.
we can, for sure.
Heavies, chain, so the chain heavies are 700 ms, really fast and with really quick chain link timings, again to keep up the pressure. Heavy finishers are unblockable in every single stance, big swings there. I really like put a lot of like effort into like the camera angles and the
Yeah,
They are my favorite attacks.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites as well.
yeah, they look really cool, right?
Made it so it was very heavy on all fronts.
Yeah, they do feel heavy. Even though they're quick, you do
Yeah.
feel that a lot of the heaviness. Well, so it's really good. And then we have zone attacks, which are always armored. The opener one, like it gains armor a little bit later. But when you go into chains, you get armor at the first frame. They're a bit slower, but the idea there is like you're in a group fight, whatever, you typically want to use your zone attacks. So making them armor makes you harder to peel. That goes well. Heavy zone finishers as well. Like they switch sides too, so you're not super predictable. Again, you can use your armor to trade against dodge attacks against certain things, so that's great. And then we have bashes, right? So we also have an opener bash, so from front dodge into bash. We go into this.
Nice.
One of the things that we'll see as we go towards this is that every single bash this hero has deals direct damage.
Okay.
Never has confirmed damage afterwards, although getting a 400 ms light afterwards is almost guaranteed. But, there's still ways to get out of it.
Yeah.
So the neutral bash, pretty simple, 500 ms bash, alpha front dodge, so that works quite well. And we have the chain version that I'm going to go into here, which is slower, deals direct damage, but is feintable, right? We've been doing a lot of feintable bashes. Especially on this hero, it's super scary. We've had some players that tested it out a little bit with us, and they're like, yeah, this is really cool. Well, and last but not least, we have the bash finisher, which is 500 ms, deals quite a bit of damage. You have to make a read because you cannot dodge after this if I throw a light. So it's a lot, again, like a lot of that pressure and that build up there into going to what am I going to do, what's my opponent going to do, what is the Ocelotl going to do against me, and it's super scary. And with those bashes too, like we have like really unique animations here, like everything's super different. I can go into this one where you do a big pummel strike. The finisher has the kind of crust cut there. So what kind of inspiration you guys take for these type of things?
Oh, well, at first all the bashes were pummel strikes. I believe the opener was the right side, and then for the in chain we had the pummel strike from the spear. At a certain point, we're like, these are all pummel strikes. So JC had the great idea of making the scissor move, which I found really great. And it's a really vicious move. You kind of feel like Daniel was saying, the rage of the character through that move. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that move looks pretty
So,
cool.
all right. So outside of this, we have dodge attacks.
Doesn't do
They're all
a
on
huge
lights.
amount of damage,
They
though.
don't have massive trajectories.
I feel like it would
Again,
kill you straight away
we'll have,
in
like,
real life.
sometimes downsides to the hero,
If,
but also like it
someone
feels
did that to you.
really natural to have quick dodge attacks with this. Front dodge light as well there. So there's a little jump here in a bit of distance. That's pretty cool. Works quite well. But there's one more little thing I think that we haven't done.
Oh, yes.
Right?
That's very true.
That's quite different with this hero.
Go
So
ahead, man.
one of the things that we really want to feel, because we have all of this, right? We have the feat set that we're also
Yeah,
going to talk afterwards. But one of the core aspects is the hunting, the stalking, right? And so as we were developing the hero more and more and more, we're like, you know, we're kind of missing that aspect a little bit. So we ended up creating a new kind of Stalker stance, prowl stance. You access it by holding down
Ooh,
on the
other stance.
right stick. and
Called
you
it.
go into this, right? So when you are in
Bit like
this
Shaman,
stance,
actually.
there's
Yeah.
a couple of things.
Kind of like.
First of all, you can't block.
Can't
so
block.
It's really not meant to be like
So
something
it's
defensive.
it's a bit like
even though,
Highlander.
like, it's not super visible, but when you go into it, you get you do get a little bit of dodge range. Kind of like with Nobushi. It's the same timings as Nobushi, so you can dodge attacks with it.
Yeah.
So it works quite well. And then the other thing that's interesting here is that you actually walk faster when you are in this stance than when you're not. So an example, if I'm strafing to the right here, you see the speed I'm going at. But when I'm in that prowl stance, I'm going much faster. Faster front, faster back, faster everything. So the idea here is that we really want people to be able to use this stance to kind of like be, you know, there's a group fight happening, I'm hunting my prey, what am I going to do? And you get there. So when you are in this stance, you have one single attack that you can perform with the heavy button, which is this. So when you perform it, you jump forward, leap by quite a bit, and if your attack connects, right, you can move from really far, you get into a bit of a pin, the club gets embedded in the opponent, slice it off.
It's just the one
really,
attack.
really good. This acts as a heavy, so you can do your heavy chains afterwards. It's a heavy opener, like what we have as a heavy openers, and it's super effective. It's not the best tool in 1v1. I can warn people right away. It's
Yeah,
not
that's like a
meant to be
ganking
used as
tool
a
there.
1v1 tool,
Yeah.
but it's excellent at peeling. Right. So if you're again far in a group fight, you might be off screen. People don't really see you too much. You get into it, and then you see an opening. Boom, you go, you strike.
Yeah, I mean, more useful in
It's not
elimination,
visible or anything, but
dominion,
it's really- so you have to commit
breach,
to it,
that kind of
but it
move.
feels really good.
In a
This happened
1v1,
a
you're
lot
obviously
in Tested
focusing
too,
on
just so
the other
people
person the
know,
whole
you know, we were,
time, so
like,
you're not
testing it
really
out,
gonna
you just, you know,
jump
played
at
a
them
Dominion
and
game, then suddenly
scare
this-
them if you're
this
just looking at them the
Ocelotl
whole
comes
time.
flying in from off screen, you're like, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. But what's also cool here is that this requires a lot of work from animation. So you want to walk us through a little bit, like,
Yes.
what goes into making that sort of stance there?
Okay, first of all, the stance, like the character is a little bit low, we can say that, and he's not static in that stance. So, which means we had to go to Mocap and record a whole navigation like that.
Yeah.
The Mocap actors did an amazing job, so shout out. Like they did amazing,
Yeah.
and
back is,
for
Oh, yeah.
back and legs, I would
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
So
He's gonna be,
yeah.
gonna be feeling it for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I remember we shot it on I think on a Monday, and the Tuesday the guys came back in and they like you saw they were hurting. It was obvious. They're very very professionally trained like stuntmen. They're amazing. They're really good
Has
people. They're
to
doing an
stop,
amazing job.
continue.
It's still
Yeah.
very like it's
yeah,
hard. In the
an amazing job there.
Yeah, was it tough to go and convince?
I'd love
the-
to
the
try
Mocap
some
actors,
mocap,
hey, so
like,
we just kinda need you to
see what
crouch
it's
there
like
for
to
like
actually
2
do it.
hours.
I know it's a
Just
very
walk.
skilled
And
job,
you
and
can
obviously I'd be
repeat
probably
this,
shit at
this,
it, but
We want to get
and then
crouched
be cool
better,
to actually
you know?
like
Yeah.
we can always modify
see
it, like, with
your
software,
movements,
but it
like,
takes
on
longer.
screen and,
So when
like,
you
look at the
have,
whole
like,
process.
really
I
good
think
data, it's
Ubisoft did a video about it
can
like
put
a few years
everything
ago,
together, like, really
and
faster.
Nice.
it was
And
looked
for the attack, I
awesome.
would say that the challenge
Love to
here
try it.
as an animator, we always exaggerate poses, and it was the range that he's
Thanks
covering
guys
there.
for joining, by the way.
So the
We
challenge
are
was to keep it not
over the 400 viewer
to
mark,
keep
which
the level of,
is pretty good. I haven't done a stream for a while, but yeah,
and
glad you
as
guys
much
have
as, it fits
jumped
the-
in
the
to
photo
say
now.
hello. So
Yeah. And
very
one
much
thing that
appreciated.
people that, like,
Welcome.
You haven't been at Mocap. It's kind of interesting to kind of talk about. Whenever we actually do Mocap, when we do navigation, we call
Yes.
navigation when you're moving around. Like we're asking.
I need to have a
the-
better
the
streaming
actors
setup
or
though.
something to really
I'm not
go
set up
and
for,
they have to walk, run
for
in
live
different,
streams
like,
very well.
directions, do figure eights, all sorts of stuff, so we can get like
Exactly.
every single movement, how the legs are placed, how that stuff works. So it's a lot of work, it's a lot of stuff, and but it ends up looking amazing. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
super hyped.
The
Yeah,
hero
absolutely.
actually comes out next
Yeah.
week, so the 27th
All
of
right,
July.
So
Today
so
is
we
just
looked at
the
this.
reveal.
Let's look at executions right now. Right?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
It's
Ooh,
really like, well, I did it,
executions.
'cause, like, before I'm gonna do it again.
Here we go. This is where they really show off their mocap.
Yeah, right. So that's pretty cool.
Skills.
I can do it, and then again, it counts as an opener. I can lock in, go back into every finishes if I want. So all good stuff there. That works really well.
That's the only attack he flipped.
Yeah,
Yeah, we tried doing that
Yeah.
move earlier.
Yeah, we were
outside
trying
with
like
the-
before, like
Man,
2
it was
minutes.
heavy.
it's rough.
outside,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I don't know how the
that's-
actors
that's
did it.
pretty cool. Okay, so Jimmy, if you want to remove your infinite health,
Yes. I don't.
and arena settings, yeah. You know that first one.
Here.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
I can
Back
help.
to arena settings. Sorry.
This.
No,
No?
no, no, no.
You wanna
The
do it?
Nolan,
Yeah, I think
we take care of it,
quick
yeah.
settings
Ben.
and then you go there.
Ah, there you go.
All right. Okay. So, we're gonna look at executions, right? So I'm gonna go.
Really just demonstrate the blender. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
All right, first one.
go to the club.
Ooh,
Bam.
Yeah.
So-
damn.
Get them off. Pretty brutal. You know, looks pretty cool.
Threw it straight at him.
Respawn. Okay, so let's do this again.
It's quite a hefty weapon to throw as
All
well.
four of them. So.
Just never stop.
All
playing
right,
with
second one. Here we go.
That's the goal.
Oh,
right,
through the
right.
thigh.
I love this one. It's like
Oh man.
Manual special.
Ooh.
right. So clearly, right now we're on stream, so we.
They've
we
yeah.
Show
blood
the-
and
I was
stuff.
gonna say they've
Blood,
turned off
it's quite
turned
bloody.
off
You
blood
see it
and
in
gore
game,
effects.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah,
that's gonna
quite
look
bloody.
pretty brutal in game. All right, here we go. Number 3. Through the chest again, across the
Good
neck.
Fast execution, right? Works quite well.
Yeah,
And
I
then
reckon a
finally,
few heads are gonna
last
come
but
off
not
in
least.
the actual fully gore version of these executions. Coming up to the 4th one, final execution.
So that's the 4th execution here.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Fall right on this.
damn.
That's my personal
So
favorite.
that's what we did at Mocap, right? We had one guy like jump like that and fall into the spear. And
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Not
real.
into the
We just
spirit.
we lost an actor
Some-
that day. It was really
I think
sad.
some of this is assisted
Got
mocap.
the shot.
They
Got
do
the
like
shot.
Right, so that's
Got
good.
the shot.
50%
Alright,
of the
okay,
mocap
so,
there for some of them, and
now we've gone through
then
the
the
entire
end is
fight kit.
digitized.
So
But it looks cool.
prep
It looks cool,
quickly to
but
go into,
potentially unrealistic. But
showing
who
what
cares? Who
the
cares?
fuck
It's a bit like Pirates one,
That's
where she like
quite
squishes the sword out of them by
It's
just
nuts. And,
stepping on them.
That's again,
kinda
it's,
funny.
it's incredible. I gotta say,
we
just
can
So
switch to there. Okay,
probably
so
take him into limb.
This is what's going on, right? So as you see, 4 feats. First 3 are passive. The last one is active. So we'll go for the first one because I think it's the crazier one, right? So Jimmy, if you wouldn't mind.
All right, here we go with the
By
feats,
the way, Chad,
ladies
if
and
you're not sitting
gents.
down, now's a good time. Sit down. If you're in a car, buckle up. If you can just find a seatbelt anywhere, just get rid of it.
Just not executing it.
All right, so he's going low health.
Okay,
he's dead.
so not, oh no, I died. What's happening?
Oh no.
Oops.
Oh,
I
man.
Oh.
respawn. So
Oh,
this
okay.
is what the first feat does, right? So whenever you die, and you're not executed, or you don't die from like traps or get
That's
ledged,
gonna
whatever,
complicate things a
you
bit.
Get back up in spirit form. You can run around the map, go anywhere you want, and respawn wherever you'd like, as long as you're not too close to enemies or allies, or in ladders. You can run around. You can go up ladders if you'd like. Let me just go here, right? Go up a ladder.
You're faster.
You're also faster. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. You're actually running faster, so there's a bit of animation there. I can go
So
here.
what happens in a limb then
Ah,
when
looks
you
good here.
can't respawn?
Respawn here. Right?
Capture.
Backcapping,
Dunno.
super crazy, super dangerous. Really cool stuff. So
Yeah,
The
good for
first feat
Dominion.
really
That's gonna
is
be interesting.
about repositioning. We'll do it again just to make sure that there's a couple of more things to talk about. But essentially, it's around the concept of life and death, especially for these warriors. Is whenever you end up perishing and dying, you get back up and you can position yourself. So you can kill me again if you'd like.
I've never
pretty
really
great.
chased
I
these.
love-
Just if you want.
If you want, otherwise you don't have to. But yeah. So another thing that's important to see here is that the feat always activates. There is no cooldown to it. So every time you
Bit of a
die on the
delay for it
battlefield,
to
and you're
respawn,
not
though.
executed, like I said again,
It's not completely
you
instant.
this always happens. When you get back up, your health is really low, and it slowly goes back up.
Yeah, you
It
can see it
regenerates
regenerating here.
slowly over time. So we really want to do this for balancing purposes, so that we had some tests that we did, and we had versions where you were at full health when you got back up.
Oh, I
right?
remember those days.
Yeah.
Right? There were versions where,
Remember those
where,
days.
Yeah, that would be a bit
halfway and
OP.
goes up.
Just right.
You
Be a
can
bit
see
OP
it's like
if he
it's
just
rather slow
straight
right
up
now, and that's
full
really on
health after.
purpose, because we don't want you to be able to just, you die in front of somebody. you
Yeah, that's
get right
true.
Back up, full
You
health,
you want to
they're
get an
not- they're not
execution
healed up,
on
Exactly.
on Ocelotl.
They go through
so
the
that he
blender,
can't use
surprise,
this.
So that's really cool.
But
the other important
if
thing
he's
here
in a
is that
team
you
fight,
like respawn how many
which
seconds, you have a
probably
minute
Ocelotls will be looking for,
respawn.
then you're
If you're too
less
close to
likely
enemies,
to be able
you
to
can
get an
respawn
execution
here. If the
in
timer
time.
expires, you respawn back at your home point. So you really have to kind of respawn wherever you like there. and it's super good. So, right, so if whenever you get killed or whatever, you can go, you can back cap, you can look at the battlefield, see what's going on. Maybe you spawn, you see a group fight, like, okay, I'm gonna go help my ally. You go respawn a little bit out of it, go into this, help out your opponent, help out your ally rather. So that it's pretty cool, right? There's a lot of good stuff there that works.
Yeah, I think it's also important to mention there that even though you're seeing JC's perspective here, and you get the cool silhouette as you're running around in that form, your opponents cannot see you.
Yeah, right. Like if you wanna, like you can do it again. Well, actually, I'll
Please kill me. Fun
It's a
fact
brutal
about-
stream today, guys.
Fun fact about this feat: we had a lot of realization ideas for the
don't execute 'em.
revive
If
animations.
you'd executed them, they wouldn't
They
have to
turned
do
out
it.
to be way too long.
Oh, so the body goes
it's
as well.
Very ethereal. The actors are moving around, and being revived. But for the sake of gameplay, we had to cut a lot of those animations
see,
out.
so, yeah. So right now, Jimmy's somewhere. I have no idea where he is.
He's
Where?
somewhere.
He's somewhere. I don't know where he is. Like he might respawn in my face. He might respawn at my home point. He might respawn at my opponent's point. I have no idea. I do not know where he's going to respawn. And then I'm like, where is he? Where is he?
Capturing
he's
your
getting-
Oh,
he's
it's gonna.
Oh no, he's
I
there.
mean,
he's
next to a
captured.
ledge or
That's
something.
kinda like
Oh,
a
actually,
big
that
part
would
of
be
the feat
cool.
that's super interesting.
There, there's
It's
going to be so
very
many
good,
moments where people
very
are going to
different. We've
respawn
never
if someone's on a
even
ledge.
after this,
Yeah.
Just respawn behind them and then just kick them off.
we're having,
I reckon that's going to
yeah,
happen
we're
a
gonna
lot.
start to look at doing stuff
classic
and
For
moving
Honor
around,
fashion.
and when you're
Or
dead,
fashion.
we'll see how that goes.
Fashion. Yeah,
They
fashion.
didn't like us, but,
Classic-
in the end,
classic
they did
For Honor
an
fashion.
Amazing job.
Yeah.
Everybody worked together, so it was great. Okay, so let's.
Yeah,
go
you
to the
can't
other
see them.
because we don't have infinite time here. So the second feat
Can't see your enemies
is
if they're
kinda
in that
like,
mode.
Aztec Killer Deterrent, right? So
I
that's
like
how
it. I like it.
that's how I like to put it,
I
right?
think we should change the name. and
Right?
get-
Yeah. So what it does is when you actually kill an Ocelotl, here. So you see on top of my head, I have a little marker, and I also have a buff and a debuff. The buff is for the third feat, but the debuff is on me. So essentially, when you kill an Ocelotl, you get revealed on the map, and you get a defense debuff for, I think it's 15 seconds. So it's not really necessarily like a buff for your opponent that they're going to be able to see you, the one you killed specifically, but it's also to kind of like deter people from focusing on this hero too much. Because if you end up killing an Ocelotl in a group fight, you're probably going to die afterwards. Right? You get a significant defense debuff. You got to be scared of it.
So you want to kill him last in a
That's
group
what
fight.
we're here. We really want to make sure that, like, again,
I
the
see,
feats
I
play
see.
with life and death, and what happens when you kill an Ocelotl, and what happens when you get killed as an Ocelotl.
Nice.
And so the next one, when I kill any hero, right here, I'm gonna do here. So third feat activates. So the third feat is whenever you kill an enemy, execution, whatever, you gain a speed increase and an attack buff. So again, it's like really, really strong. You get into a group fight, you kill somebody, it's gonna be easier to kill other people in that group fight.
Nice.
So again, with that life and death stuff, you manage to kill your prey, you get pumped up, you go, yeah, all right, cool, I'm gonna be able to do more stuff, and you kill more people. So that's really, really good. Again, short cooldowns on those are passive. They pretty much trigger every single time you either die or you kill somebody. So that works really well.
Nice.
And then last but not least is Feat 4. So for Feat 4, we tried to do something a little bit different here. Vanessa, when we started working on this hero, the legendary Vanessa,
The legend. The legend.
really wanted to go, you know what, we have like this big spear. I want to throw it and bring people
Oh,
back to
I called
Sure,
it
yeah.
yesterday.
So what do we do here?
I called it
You throw the
yesterday.
spear, get your opponent
Oh,
back,
it's like a
and
rope
get
though. I
into
didn't
a
expect
guard.
that.
So not
Oh,
like,
What the hell?
he's gonna perish, unfortunately, but it's gonna be okay.
Due to the other fact.
And he does have
What
bleed.
happens is when you throw
So
that
there we go.
spear, the cooldown also we're like
He
well,
does in fact have bleed, and he
about
can
it.
throw
Yeah,
his
this is
spear.
not the actual
It's okay,
cooldown.
chat. It's okay.
Okay, right. So what ends up happening is that you throw
Our
the spear, when it
speculation
connects,
was
it deals
correct.
A little bit of direct damage, a significant amount of bleed
I
damage.
didn't see how much damage it did do
Pull
though.
an opponent
It looked like it
towards
did like
you, and then you
70
get into a garbage
damage.
position, which means you can
is pretty
throw
mad.
somebody, or you get another free heavy afterwards. But when I say throw somebody, you can kind of. Oh no, there's a ledge
But
here. What's gonna
where
happen?
can you throw somebody?
Oh,
He's gonna die again.
can ledge with it.
Anticipation.
He's not gonna die.
Was it a GB then?
So
Is it classed as a
let's do
GB?
this. And then
Yeah, it is.
Oops, there's a ledge. Oops.
Oh, I missed though.
Almost there, right?
So close.
We missed
works,
it.
trust me,
Classic.
It works.
Classic.
Not every
It's
single
gonna bleed
time,
out
but
anyway.
you have to be careful. You have to be really close to the ledges. But that's the type of thing.
Yeah,
you
I
can
reckon he's
expect,
going to be a
right?
good legend
You
hero.
use it to do a
If you
lot
can
of different
spawn
things.
behind people,
If there's,
just
any
kick him off,
obstacles between you
and you can
the
also
person you're pulling,
rope
like
pull
once
them
you hit
towards
if
you.
Pull them towards you. they're gonna get stopped. So you can't just like
Spear
throw
rope
somebody
pull.
through allies or enemies or whatever. So you still have to be careful when you use it.
Don't quite know
But
the
it's
technical
amazing.
term for
It's a
that.
projectile. So again, in group fights, you know, you're external. You throw it, pull your opponent towards you,
Yeah.
get a heavy. Your allies get a heavy off of them as well. All sorts of good stuff. So it's a super
Yeah.
it's a very very good fight, honestly.
And was that tough to do for y'all? Like kind of like you forcing them and dragging and like.
Right. Well,
Was that a little tough?
that feat wasn't an easy feat.
Right? Yeah.
So we had a precedent before with other characters to do sort of a grappling thing. So we based ourselves of that for this feat. And we
They
used
kinda
a-
had
we
grappling
used
with
a similar
Shinobi
system
though,
with the
didn't they?
graps where,
Like the
we
old
had
Shinobi.
First
could
an
grapple.
animation for
So they
the
kinda brought it
grappling
back.
itself. Then we needed a loop for the target to reach the opponent. Once that loop was done, we also needed another animation for the drawback. And after that, we branched into the guard break, which was an addition we did by the end of this.
He got it.
There we go.
Sorry.
They just
Yeah.
interrupt
So all
the
these
guy,
systems
poor
work
guy.
together.
It's
to
more
make,
the
this
technical
cool feat.
side, I would say.
Yeah, this is a pretty technical side of
Yeah.
it. Animation-wise, it was relatively simple. It was more the technical side that was a challenge.
Yeah, because we have to like sync with VFX as well, have the rope,
That's
all
right.
that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
All that stuff is built through like VFX systems, so it's really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, you can just grab your opponent, get him over here, and then do something you want.
Yeah,
with
get
it.
it
That's
over
good.
here,
Yeah, it's just.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for this hero's move sets and feats.
Oh boy,
So,
that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot for the
a
Ocelotl.
lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, and I think just to kind of summarize there.
Probably say you
like,
couldn't execute off of that
some
just
of
because it was
my
a
key
bleed,
takeaways
and bleeds
of,
normally
yeah,
can't
yeah,
execute.
Don't
And it was sort of like a
kill
GB
one.
as well.
Don't get killed by one, and if you see one, just run because they're coming for you. Okay, the Ocelots are coming. for
No
you, and
rage
they
blood
will-
mode.
they will-
Yeah, he has got his hunter stance.
They're terrifying. You made a terrifying.
But we don't know his
hero.
other
No,
feats
you
actually,
made a
like his
terrifying
non-hero
hero. Oh my
specific
gosh, but
feats.
there's
So he
so
might
much
have like
fun.
fear itself or something.
Oh my
So
gosh, okay.
that could
Fun.
be classed
Yeah,
as
so
like
I
a
mean,
rage wave.
Honestly, big props to.
No more running away from my
everyone
opponents. Yes,
Like,
yeah,
especially the
Elim.
first feat involved a
That's
lot
actually
from a
lot of work.
disciplines.
that
a
is.
lot of
I
work.
can
It's
I
a
can
lot more
I
work
can
than you
already
would
see
do
the clips
for-
coming.
especially feat one.
People try and run away. Nah,
Kudos to everybody,
just
like the GPT
spear them,
programmers,
bring them back.
the design team, animation
Legend
team,
potentially.
art team,
I think
everything.
I'm gonna have some fun with.
Sass-